Hi, thanks for watching, and happy 2025. My name's Court Ware, and today I'm going to be listing my top 50 albums of 2024. The second coolest thing that this video could do is start conversation about what everybody's favorite music is, or favorite albums of the year. The first coolest thing would be to create a community of music lovers that often have conversations about music and their favorite music and favorite albums. So if you feel like it, please comment and like and subscribe or whatever. And it would be cool to have a reason to make more of these type of videos other than just my own creative inspiration. So thanks. I'm going to start off the list by just kind of naming each album and where I rated them. And not going super into detail with the first 35, and then once we hit the top 15, then I'll start going more in depth about my thoughts about the albums, just to speed the video along and to save me some writing. At number 50 is Quedeca's mixtape/album Scrapyard. 49 is Christopher Owens, who's the former lead singer of the band Girls, with I Want to Run Barefoot Through Your Hair. At number 48 is Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, who just had an incredible halftime performance at the Texans game. 47 is What Now by Brittany Howard of the band Alabama Shakes. 46 is Charm by Clairo. 45 is It's Sorted by Cheekface. 44 is Songs of a Lost World by The Cure. 43 is A Dream Is All I Know by the Lemon Twigs. 42 is the original soundtrack to Challengers by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. 41 is Maze Envy by Severus. 40 is Samurai by Lupe Fiasco. 39 is Every Bridge Burning by the band Nails. 38 is the debut album of LustSickPuppy, Carousel from Hell. 47 is Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. 46 is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. 35 is Loss of Life by MGMT. 34, 2093 by Yeat. 33, Tidal Memory XO by Igloo Ghost. 32, Hotel La Route by Joanna Wang. 31 is What a Funning Nightmare by The Chisel. 30 is Something in the Room She Moves by Julia Holter. 29 is Dark Times by Vince Staples. 28 is Silence is Loud by Nia Archives. 27 is Wall of Eyes by The Smile. 26 is Here in Pitch by Jessica Pratt. 25 is Lives Outgrown by Beth Gibbons. 24 is The Great American Bar Scene by Zach Bryan. 23 is Cascade by Floating Points. 22 is Rich Ass Haitian by Mahogany. 21 is Bright Future by Adrianne Lenker. 20 is You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To by Knocked Loose. 19 is Smile, D by Porter Robinson. 18 is 13-inch Frank Beltrame Italian Stiletto with Bison Horn Grips by Shoo Shoo. 17 is She Reaches Out to She by Chelsea Wolfe. And 16 is The Thief Next to Jesus by Ka. I do want to go a little bit into this album here. It's a super dark hip-hop album with intense themes of death, faith, and truth. I just want to say rest in peace to Ka. His memory will live on through the great work that he's done on A Thief Next to Jesus and his other great albums. At 15 is Absolute Elsewhere by the band Blood Incantation. I'm going to steal a little bit of what Deep Cut said about this record in his review. This album is like if you cut open Pink Floyd and stuffed in the carcass of Blood Incantation, mixed with some sci-fi themes, and that you get Absolute Elsewhere. This record is absolutely insane with basically 2 songs with 3 parts in each song. It's I don't really even know what it's about, but it's the most brutal death metal record you'll hear this year, and it's a great listen all around. Super proggy, kind of. It's like prog death metal, which is a really cool sound, and highly recommend. 14 is As Grand As by Mahogany. This record blew me away. It's a really cool modern combination of sounds from Funkadelic and Jimi Hendrix into a very underrated debut album from this up-and-coming Finnish rock star, Mahogany. Number 13 is 2-Star in the Dream Police by Mk.gee. Speaking of combining influences, Mk.gee is a mixture of Prince and Frank Ocean and The Police, all into this super liminal, cloudy, dark sound. Mk.gee, along with his friend Dijon, are 2 artists to really be looking out for in the coming years. They're one of a kind, and both have their own unique approach to creating music and creation in general. I've grown to really become a fan of theirs through this year, and I encourage you to check out both of their projects. But this is an albums list, so with 2-Star in the Dream Police, while maybe not the most consistent album on this list, the ambiance that this album is able to achieve is unlike any other on this list, and one of a kind across music's history. And if you saw my Spotify Wrapped, you'd know how much I really dug this record. There's something special about Mk.gee. Check it out. At 12 is Night Palace by Mount Eerie. This is my favorite Phil Elverum project in recent years, and on Night Palace we hear him going back to his early sounds on The Glow Part 2, as well as Mount Eerie's self-titled project, Mount Eerie, but with a darker and waterier sound that remains super dynamic throughout the album and ends up in some pretty interesting places throughout. 11 is Prelude to Ecstasy, the debut from British indie girl group The Last Dinner Party. This album sounds so grand and so gorgeous, and dives into themes of ego, romance, and power. This will not be the last time this group ends up on one of my lists, and Prelude to Ecstasy is an absolute must-listen to this year. Hey, it's top 10 time. And at number 10 we have Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. On Imaginal Disc, Magdalena Bay continues their synth-pop efforts from their 2021 album Mercurial World, but this time bigger and bolder than ever, tackling themes of the artificial insanity of the internet in 2024, with hit after hit after hit. This is really a really catchy album. This top 9 is where it starts to get really rough. A lot of these on this list were my album of the year at one point, and are all fantastic and deserves listens from you. But these top 9, it was really exceptionally hard to rank these, just letting you know. So they're all about in the same ranking. They would be in the same tier on a tier list. At number 9 is No Name by Jack White. This is his hardest hitting album that I've heard, including some of the White Stripes albums. Although it may sound like it's playing out of a Goodwill amplifier, it rocks. There are just so many bangers on No Name, and I've been playing them all year long. If you're a cop, then arrest yourself. At 8 is Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee. Oh my gosh, it hurts putting this album at number 8. Seriously, it's that good. And it's a 2-hour-long album that only just got put on streaming and then immediately taken off the day later. It brings back this hypnagogic quality that I haven't heard since Ariel Pink's work and John Mouse, and a personal favorite of mine, Outer City Limits. This is the solo effort of the former front person of the band Women. Cindy Lee breaks through with superliminal sounds with excellent guitar work, and is overall super impressive for a long-ass project by a solo artist. 7 is I Lay Down My Life For You, from the one and only JPEG Mafia. This is his most introspective album, and is secretly better than Scaring the Hoes. He comes through with a statement about how he's feeling about where he falls in the current rap landscape, and how it's hurting his mental health, and how he's recovering from it. This is definitely a new era for Peggy, and 100% puts him in the greatest rapper of right now territory. This is actually secretly a super conceptual record, and I think there's more that meets the eye with I Laid My Life Down For You. This is actually a very conceptual record, and there's more that meets the eye with each track. So give it a listen, and give it a few listens. At 6, Portuguese ambient artist Raphael Torl transports us to his ecosystem full of life on Spectral Evolution, with noises of creatures accompanied by the most peaceful guitar sounds you'll hear on any guitars, on any songs, on any of the albums on this list. 42 minutes of tranquility that certainly brought me peace in 2024. At 5 is Patterns and Repeat by Laura Marling. Laura Marling dives into themes of motherhood, as well as relationships past and present. Although I couldn't relate to this album personally, it's impossible to not admire this album's emotional power and Laura Marling herself as one of the best songwriters of the 20s, no doubt. At 4 is The New Sound, the solo project of former Black Midi member Jordy Griep. He shocked the world with the rock. At number 4, is the solo project of former Black Midi member Jordy Griep, surprising everyone with the rock album of the year, The New Sound. The New Sound takes on dancey Latin influences and mixes it with the stories of these men that are lost in masculinity, real Travis Bickle-like characters from the movie Taxi Driver, as cautionary tales and sort of characters to be empathetic towards in some ways. I'm not going to go that into it. Just listen to the album. It's one of the most full sounds of the year. The engineering on this record is insane, off the wall. Holy Holy, definitely one of the best songs you'll hear this year. Griep really is a generational artist, and I have a feeling that he can top this record somehow. I mean, these Black Midi / Jordy Griep records just keep getting better and better, and The New Sound is proof of that. At number 3 is an album that totally surprised me, Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter. Cameron Winter is the lead singer of the band Geese. He released this album this month, and it's already my second most listened to album of the year on Last.fm. It's rare that an album connects with me this personally. It is rare that an album thematically connects with me as perfectly as this one has. Each song just clicks. At first, it kind of sounds like a homeless person rambling, but after a deeper look into you start to question whether Cameron Winter's really the best lyricist of our generation. Maybe it's just me. I also want to talk about how this year has been maybe a record number of solo artist on my list. Just off the top of my head, the Brittany Howard record, the Adrianne Lenker record, the Jack White record, Cameron Winter, Jordy Griep, I'm sure a few other ones that I missed, were all incredible. And were the original front people, Cindy Lee too. They were originally front or lead singers of their bands going on doing solo projects. These albums are great, but, we don't see that many bands anymore. I really would appreciate if these artists kind of stuck to their bands a little bit more. But, if they're going to go off solo and make albums as good as this one, then I guess so be it. But, there are less and less bands nowadays getting easier to make music, so I guess you can expect to see that trend in 2025, maybe. Number 2 brings us to the second most important artist of 2024. That's Kendrick Lamar. GNX really solidifies him as the greatest rapper of our generation. I mean, his catalog is really incredibly hard to match, and GNX being his most dancey record, as well as his most vocally dynamic record as well. It every time I listen to Whacked Out Murals, it shocks me how he can make "I'm Doing What COVID Did" sound so hard, and a number of other wacky lines that he just ends up making cool. I he's just an artist that is beyond comparison, and it seems like this anti-Drake campaign is still going. I have doubts that GNX is where this ends, seriously. I mean, the halftime show coming up, or the Super Bowl halftime show coming up, I feel like this is not the last we're hearing of Kendrick. And I think he has big plans for where he wants to take our culture. With my number 1, you could have gone into any list and guessed this album and probably had a 50% chance of getting it right. Hold up. It's BRAT by Charli XCX. Oh. Few albums are able to capture the feelings of a culture at a specific time than BRAT has in the summer of 2024. I mean, I felt like all the questions that BRAT was asking were questions that the people of the United States of America and elsewhere were asking. And this is the catchiest album of the year, too, with hit after hit after hit. It's crazy. Charli XCX is definitely now the pop star of our generation, and BRAT solidified that. This album is so quality from front to end, and is endlessly replayable, too. I mean, all the bonus tracks and the remixes came out, but I just kept on listening to the regular one, honestly, because I mean, it just flows so well track to track. All the themes wrap together so nicely in a little bow, with 360 and 365 starting and ending the album. You see her while dealing with all of these questions. You see her getting ready for the party on 360 and hyping herself up, and then at 365 drowning all the questions that she asks herself and haunt her over the course of the album with coke and bumping that and dancing, and all to just start over again at 360. This is a super smart record. The branding campaign for it was amazing too. I wish I could have seen it live, but thank you, Charli, for an absolute magnum opus with BRAT. Thank you for watching. Please, in the comments, leave your album of the year, or any underrated ones I might have missed, or any overrated ones I put on my list that you totally disagree with. I don't know. I just want to see what y'all think, and I think it's super interesting. I want to hear everybody's list, honestly. So make your own video as well with your album of the year list, and we can get this trending, and everybody can listen to 50 albums and talk about music infinitely. Sounds good? No, but seriously, I appreciate you watching this. It would be cool if a lot of people watched it, and I could do this as like a thing. It would be cool if I could just keep on making these and have a real reason to do it outside of my own creative inspiration, because they're hard to make, and this is my first time doing this as well. So if I got good feedback, that would be cool too, I guess. Courtwear, Benjamin, albums 2024, and that's it.